So you guys loved Update Monday so much, I decided to bring another aspect to my life into these videos. It's Workout Wednesday! What's going on with you guys? TheCaliEffect, King of Games here. And today, I'm gonna be showing you how I became the King of Games. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, since this has been so highly requested, ever since I've been saying I'm too strong, I've actually decided to give you guys a little bit of information on how we work out. If you were to ask me, working out is the solution to most problems. Working out got me stronger, it got me faster, it helped me lose a lot of weight, and is another major contribution to me kicking rheumatoid arthritis' ass. Now, RA did take a considerable amount of strength from me. Before my condition started to surface, my max squat was 500 pounds. I never really had a max deadlift, but the highest I ever went was 550. My max bench was 275. I still don't understand the purpose of a bench. I'll probably never do it again. And if you guys did not know, I was a freak athlete on the football field. Since I became positive, I've been working back on building that strength, and my coach DR Fitness 702 has been a huge help. If you guys want to see more awesome weightlifting or be inspired to do your own journey, then go ahead and check him out on Instagram. So the first thing I do before even entering the gym is that I either walk, run, or jog a complete mile. And then once I enter the gym, I hop on the bike and do another mile at least 20 miles per hour. I really like that as a warm-up because it actually allows my muscles to get going. Devin actually starts me off fairly simple with a one-legged box jump. I have to do 5x5 of this, and it's 20 inches. Now, I really do appreciate that Devin is easing me in with these plyometrics. One-legged box jumps are typically hard for people that aren't necessarily athletes, but since I'm too strong, 20 inches is still fairly low. From there, we get Psycho Devin. He loves doing higher repetitions of weight. I have to do 5x15 squat for 185 pounds. For the people that do not know, I'm not a guy that likes to squat an enormous amount of times. I just like to move an enormous amount of weights. I'm very used to 315 pounds plus 3 to 8 repetitions of a particular thing. Devin loves this 5x5, 185, and it actually kicks my ass more than doing the heavier weight, as I can't even complete the whole thing at 185. We finish our workout by doing some lunges and also holding on to some weights and walking up and down the turf. This is to help me with my grip strength, as it does slip away because of the RA. But to be honest with you guys, I've never had an amazing grip strength in the first place. Now that I'm done with talking about my leg day workout, I really hope that this tier list works out for you guys. As per requested, we're going to be going over the top trap cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. So of course, if you want to see more content like this or more Workout Wednesdays, be sure to destroy that subscribe button, and also let us know down below in the comment section what other type of workouts you would like to see, and of course, what other type of tier list you would like to see. So jumping on into our tier list, we actually have 5 different categories, with one of them being different. As you guys should already know, the bottom 4 are pretty self-explanatory. One thing I would like to point out is that underrated isn't better than really good. Underrated is just cards that are really good that you should watch out for, and everybody loves, oh no, what are you doing, baby? The Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you should probably just give your opponent the win if you're playing. With that being said, let's jump into our tier list, and our very first card is Infinite Impermanence. This is easily a staple must-play Yu-Gi-Oh card. Now, Infinite Impermanence is really good in a format where you can negate a monster effect, really prevalent against decks like Tri-Brigade, and of course other decks like Solomon Great negating Mirage Stalio, Sky Striker being able to negate that Shizuku or that Kagari. Infinite Impermanence is amazing because it also dodges cards like Call by the Grave and Triple Tactics Talent. It is essentially, if you are playing a trap card, more often than not, you're going to be playing Impermanence. I feel like Warning Point is an underrated Yu-Gi-Oh card. This card is actually nuts. When your opponent summons a monster, you can negate that monster's effects, and it can't be used basically for a summon. This can actually be really good against decks like Tri-Brigade. I'm going to call it BBW from now on. If you don't know what BBW means, go watch any of my videos where I mention the particular card. It's fairly good against Virtual World, as you can stop a monster like Virtual World QB Shinshin, or even a monster that they want to make into Zeus like a Ptolemy M7. It's great against Sky Striker. Not only do you prevent Kagari from activating, you can prevent them from making other Link monsters. This card is just overall nasty in the current Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitive card game. And before I actually get further into this video, if you guys want to see the top Yu-Gi-Oh! Tier list based off of the YCS remote duels that just happened, then go ahead and check out this video, as it'll get you more acclimated and why I'm rating these particular cards in the particular order, because we are rating it off of some of the best decks in the format, as well as some other decks that can compete inside of this meta. Next is going to be Evenly Matched. I feel like Evenly Matched is, of course, a really good Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. It's good against in a format where your opponent has to build up advantage. Decks that like to play back row like BBW and Virtual Roll, those decks can very much play back row. It's also good against decks like Sky Striker and Solomon Great. That makes up 4 out of the 5 top decks inside of this meta. Evenly Matched is just a powerful blowout card in those right situations. Ice Dragon's Prison, unfortunately, oh man, I actually want to put it in the, oh no, what are you doing, baby? Now hear me out, guys. Unless your meta is filled with mono type decks, this card just isn't great right now. You're gonna have a very hard time hitting Virtual World cards with this particular card. Drytrons don't really care. They can just replenish the graveyard back anyways. Against Sky Strikers, well, I mean, if they put 2 warrior monsters in the graveyard, then go ahead. Sky Striker Link monsters can't be Ice Dragon's Prison because they weren't even summoned properly, meaning you can't bring them to your side of the field. Against Solomon Great, yeah, this card can work. Against Prank Kids, don't try it, bro. With that being said, those are some of the top decks where this card is just not good. I'm going to put it as not effective because there are a lot of decks that this card can work against, just not the top decks right now. We're going to go ahead and move on Get Out into the not effective, but I do feel that Get Out is closer to really good than not effective. And the reason behind it is because there are so many decks that like to special summon multiple times from the extra deck and have them on the board. Get Out gets rid of 2 of them. It's a really good trap card. The only problem with Get Out is that there are some decks like Sky Striker that only summon 1 monster from the extra deck, and Get Out has to get 2. Also, Get Out is a fairly slow Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. It needs to address a particular board as opposed to being reactive to when your opponent wants to activate something. You can say that this card can get out of here in the current Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. I like saying that. We should already know and love and respect Summon Limit as a really good Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. In a meta where decks like to summon a lot of times, limiting their summons is something that's extremely good. Heavy Storm Duster is also a really good Yu-Gi-Oh! Card if you guys are playing a trap deck or any deck that incorporates Trap Trick. If you ask me, Trap Trick is staple must play if you're playing a trap deck at this point in time. It allows you to basically search a Twin Twisters, and its drawback, you cannot conduct your battle phase this turn. You're a trap card. I'm using it on your opponent's turn. What the fuck are you thinking? There can be only one. I actually had it in a really good category until I looked at the top decks. Drytron can out there can be only one just by summoning Herald. Virtual World in BBW can actually not only play around this card, Virtual World can play this card. I'm going to go ahead and put this card to not effective. While it is good against the lower tier decks, Solomon Great, or I guess I wouldn't call it lower tier decks, but the other decks that aren't the top decks, Solomon Great, Dino, D-Link. I mean, are you really going to be sideboarding or mainboarding for that particular situation? Answer should be no, but I know how you glue readers think sometimes. Macrocosmos it feels like an oh no, what are you doing, baby? And there's only one reason why this card feels like it, is because it's limited to 1. If Macrocosmos was at anything more than 1, if Macrocosmos was at 3, this would be like a staple must play for the decks that can play it. I'm actually going to meet you guys in the middle ground because it is a really good card. The problem with Macrocosmos is that A, you must open it, B, you must go first, or C, you must play cards to disrupt your opponent's board and have this card. And that's what makes this card so okay-ish. Next is going to be Grave Digger's Trap Hole. I feel like Grave Digger's Trap Hole is a fairly good Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, but unfortunately I'm going to put it as not effective because Grave Digger's Trap Hole is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card that is, it's not proactive, it needs to be more reactive. And while it can be a good card with Trap Trick's Rafflesia, even the decks that do play Parallel Exceed, that could play Parallel Exceed, like Solomon Great or even Prank Kid, they don't play Parallel Exceed because it's not a necessary card right now. So I do think that Gravedigger's Trap Hole effect-wise is really good, but in the current situation that we're in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just not an effective Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. Different Dimension Ground, easily. This card is the beans right now, boy. If I wasn't wearing this lavender shirt, I would say that it's even stronger than the color lavender, but I'm wearing it, so it's great. Different Dimension Ground is a godsend, even if you are playing a deck that's relying on the graveyard. Why? You get to choose when this card is activated. Let's say, for example, for a whole turn, I want my opponent not to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, I mean, not only can Trap Trick search this card, I can prevent them from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For an entire turn. Amazing against most of the top decks. BBW, struggle. Virtual World, they can struggle. It depends on the situation. Drytron, struggle. Striker can struggle. Sala struggles. Prank, struggle. Phantom Knight, struggle. Dog, struggle. Dino, struggle. D-Link, struggle. Hit the struggle bus and take your ass home. This card will make you struggle. This is seriously should be considered as a sideboard card. Witcher Strike, unfortunately to me, guys, I don't think that Witcher Strike is a great Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'm going to have to put it in not effective. And the reason why is because there aren't a lot of decks that are setting up negates like how Witcher Strike would like for you to have. The only deck that sets up like negates like that would be Drytron in the top 5. And since Herald of Ultimates can actually negate Witcher Strike, you kind of just wasted yourself. Not only did you waste a turn, you wasted yourself. Moving forward, Needle Sealing, easily, well respected in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Needle Sealing can end an opponent's turn. Against us like BBW and Virtual World, oh my god, they hate this card. Needle Sealing your opponent and have face down Yu-Gi-Oh cards so you can keep your monsters. This card is extremely strong. The only thing that I don't like about this is that your opponent can play around it, and a smart opponent will play around it. But sometimes you can force your opponent that where they can't play around it, and you just Needle Sealing for free. Next, Paleozoic Dynamiscus. I actually want to put Paleozoic Dynamiscus in the oh no, what are you doing, baby? So I gotta say it. Oh no, what are you doing, baby? But I'm actually gonna put this into the not effective, and allow me to explain why. Paleozoic Dynamiscus is an amazing spot removal card. You're playing against Virtual World and you need to get rid of cards like Chuchi or Qinglong, or possibly even a monster. Paleozoic Dynamiscus that hoe, get that thing out of here, boy. But the reason why this card isn't amazing, at least in my opinion, or not effective anymore, is because you have to trade 2 for 1 advantage. Paleozoic Dynamiscus does potentially get rid of the threat completely, but trading 2 cards for 1 in a format where advantage means everything, that's not really a good deal right now, especially since Tri-Brigade Charade literally does the exact same thing, but gets you advantage in the process. It's kind of crazy. Quaking Mirror Force is going to be our first. Oh no, what are you doing, baby? Quaking Mirror Force is bad because there are so many link cards inside of this format. BBW summons links, Drytron, Sky Striker, Solomon Great, Prank Kids, all of these decks summon link monsters. Try to flip them face down. Now, if you can hit them before they link summon, good. But until then, no one's quaking in their boots about this card. It's a battle trap, and I'll talk about battle traps a little later. Moving forward, I feel like Solemn Judgment is actually in a great spot. It's in the not effective range, and that may leave you scratching your head. The reason why I'm glad that Solemn Judgment is in the not effective as opposed to really good. If it were really good, every single applicable deck could be maining Solemn Judgment and probably should be maining Solemn Judgment. It's a free negate. If you play 3 Solemn Judgments and you open 3 Solemn Judgments, well, there's your auto win. Unfortunately, that's not how Yu-Gi-Oh works anymore. We're no longer in 2008, where Dark Arm Dragon, Royal Oppression, Colossal Fighter, and Solemn Judgments literally spell the end of the game. And the good thing is that Solemn Judgment is still effective in back row heavy decks. There are cards like Harpy's Feather Duster and Lightning Storm that are really powerful, cards that ruin your opponent's day if they are playing a back row heavy deck. So it's fair for them to have Solemn Judgment inside of their arsenal. Raigeki Break is going to move to the oh no, what are you doing, baby? This card is a worse Paleozoic Dynamiscus because Dynamiscus doesn't require you to discard for cost, and it also can banish the threat as opposed to Raigeki destroying it, and of course it's trading 2 for 1 advantage, except you're not really getting much out of this card. In GOAT format, card's godly. In this format, no, don't play it. Moving forward, I feel like Transmigration of Prophecy is an underrated Yu-Gi-Oh card. This card was actually really good when Drytron was prevalent in the first time, and the reason was is because it shuffled in those Drytron cards back into the deck, which means that they can't summon them, which makes it a little bit harder for them to bring it out. But it's also good for shuffling in BBW cards in your opponent's deck, and if you time this card right, you can actually force cards to not be able to activate as they're not in the same spot where they would activate. Take, for example, if your opponent tributes Cyber Angel Benton for the effect of Alpha Thubin. You can use this card to shuffle in of course, the Benton and another card, possibly a Drytron monster, prevent the Benton from being activated, put it in their deck, and more importantly, get rid of some cards. This card is actually really underrated as it does have more applications outside of that. I think it's a card that you should test out. Goes in matches actually not meeting the same fate as there can be only one. This card is actually really good as some of the top decks like BBWs and Virtual World play multiple types or attributes inside of their deck, and this card can stop. This card is actually really good in the deck like Solomon Great that plays all fire and can get away with using it. Torrential Tribute, you guys should already know it is a staple must-play Yu-Gi-Oh card. If you're playing a trap deck and Torrential Tribute is not in your trap deck, you better have a damn good reason. This card is literally a dark hole, but a trap. It can end your opponent's turn because it's a dark hole, but a trap. There should be a torrential of comments down below in the comment section backing up why this card is the tribute to trap decks. You like that pun right there, I know. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Stormy Mirror Force won't meet the same fate as Quaking Mirror Force. I'm gonna put it in the not effective category as opposed to the, oh no, what are you doing, baby? The reason why this card is a little bit better is because it can get rid of your opponent's attacking position monsters, whether they're links or not. The reason why this card is not effective is because since we're in a link format, Access Code Talker is a really powerful card. And since Access Code Talker is a really powerful card, players are going to make it before they can, before you can trigger your Battle Trap cards. Unfortunately, Battle Trap cards aren't good for that particular reason, but once Access Code Talker starts to see less play, once Link Monsters start to see a little less play, because that's when Access Code Talker will start to see less play, Battle Traps can be good again. Moving forward, Antispell Fragrance is, I'm not even going to argue with you guys. This card is a staple must-play Yu-Gi-Oh card. If you are not on drugs, this card is amazing. The first thing is, do you like free wins against Sky Strikers? This is a free win against Sky Striker. The second thing is, do you hate being Dark Ruler no more than Mystic Mind and potentially Forbidden Droplets? That card, that kind of outs it. Antispell Fragrance serves multiple purposes. It stops your opponent from disrupting you if you're a combo deck, and also it completely wrecks Sky Strikers. This card is amazing. Staple must play if you are under those circumstances. The same thing can be said for Imperial Order. This card's a little more busted because it continuously stops spell cards, whereas Antispell Fragrance does slow them down for a turn, or if you're playing a deck that can destroy a lot of cards, it kind of permanently slows them down, period. Not really much else to say about Imperial Order though. Moving forward, we're going to put Floodgate Trap Hole. I feel like this card is extremely underrated. You remember when I said that flipping your opponent's monsters are face down are useless because link monsters on the field? This card can flip those monsters face down before they can link into them, and that card must stay face down unless you decide that it should be face up by attacking over it. This card is amazing against decks like Solomon Great or BBW, because not only does it prevent them from summoning additional links with their BBW monster, it flips it face down. Not a lot of things can deal with that. Floodgate Trap Hole is also great because of Trap Tricks Reflatia. So if you guys are playing Trap Tricks Reflatia with Gravedigger's Trap Hole, maybe consider teching in a copy of Floodgate Trap Hole as well. How the Mighty Have Fallen, because I remember when this card was semi-limited in 2011, if I remember correctly. Those were the good old days. Solemn Warning is the worst Solemn card. Like seriously, I would probably consider playing Solemn Wishes before I considered playing Solemn Warning. This card can stop normal summons. Meanwhile, Solemn Strike can stop the effect of the normal summoned monster, which just so happens to say you can only use this card once per turn, meaning that it did the same thing and your opponent can't replace it with the exact same monster and use its effect again. Go figure. I really wish that Solemn Warning was better, but it's just outclassed by all of the other Solemn cards. Broken Line is actually another underrated trap card, guys. even with players knowing what Broken Line is, it's still, you put them in a position where they kind of have to lose to it. Going second, Broken Line is a 4th, 5th, and 6th Solemn Strike, as you can set it in a particular column of the card that you don't want to deal with, and then Broken Line it. Going first, you can force your opponent to put it in the extra monster zone, or set it under the extra monster zone, and occupy the other extra monster zone, and guess what? Broken Line's great. You can also argue that Broken Line at sometimes could be better than Solemn Strike, or better than some of these other trap cards on the list, just because it completely rids the threat and it has almost zero possibility of being countered because it is a counter trap card. Only Red Reboot, which will probably be in a stable must play if you see a lot of trap cards in your area, is better. Also, one more thing I want to mention, if you guys see a staple trap card or a trap card that you would like for me to talk about, go ahead and post down below in the comment section as well. Moving forward, Rivalry of the Warlords is going to be a really good Yu-Gi-Oh card. We already know BBW plays multiple types, so does Virtual World. Drytron was already not affected, neither really was Sky Striker, but Solomon Great is also a deck that can play Rivalry of the Warlords. This card is pretty good against some of the lower level competition and pretty good against some of the higher level competition. Gotta respect it. Solemn Scolding is actually an underrated Yu-Gi-Oh card. What, you thought it was gonna be here, guys? Nah, Solemn Scolding is actually good. At the cost of 3,000 life points, you can not only negate a monster effect, something that will not be named, I won't mention. It can stop a spell or trap or a summon. The only requirement of Solemn Scolding is that it has to be the only trap card in your arsenal at that time. No problem. Just play a deck like Prank Kids. After you use Prank Kids Pandemonium, Solemn Scolding becomes a free negate anything. And to add more to it, you can use Prank Kid Dropsies to continuously give you life points and also stop your opponent's very important card. So Solemn Scolding is actually an amazing Yu-Gi-Oh card in a particular deck that doesn't necessarily need to play back row, but can take full advantage of the scolding. You can be scalding your opponent for 65 damage and a potential burn. Yeah, I play Pokemon. Compulsory evacuation devices, and oh no, what are you doing, baby? Now, the reason why Compulse gets into the oh no section is because it's single targeting, and the best thing about Compulse is that you'd be able to compulse your own cards too. Now, name a time where you'd want to compulse your own cards. You can't? You probably named one down below in the comment section that was extremely situational. This card is not better than Get Out. Let's just put it that way. So get out of here with that. And the last card we have to talk about is Solemn Strike. This card is the best trap card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Seriously, it's better than Imperm. It's better than, it's the best trap card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Guys. If you're playing a trap deck, you need to be playing Solemn Strike. Not only does it negate a summon of an extra deck monster, it can also negate an effect monster, a hand trap, whatever. This card is ridiculous and only 1,500 life points. It is the virtuoso of trap cards, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that is all that I have for our trap card tier list. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you guys want to see more Workout Wednesdays, or if you guys want to see more tier lists, let me know down below in the comment section what type of workouts or tier list you would like to see. As always, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Go ahead and check out these videos, as I'll catch you on the next one.